Let's talk a little bit, Phil, about what that means or from a self-orientation perspective.
Self-orientation is first of all, relatively obvious, but I'll throw out again a series of bullet points. One is, do we tend to think about self-reward rather than and what I'm going to get out of it, rather than what the other person's going to get out of it? There is, do I tend to have a self-reward model that what am I going to get out of this, or do I have a more other reward? What are you or other people or others going to get out of it? Self-orientation tends to be short-term personal gain rather than long-term overall value for a wider group of people. This is one that you will have seen again and again, and that is specifically bad leaders taking personal credit for achievement of a team rather than giving the team credit. And that's one of the ways it manifests itself more frequently. People see right through it, and it decreases trust almost instantly.
Yeah.
When you're talking, do you tend to use I orientation or we orientation? And again, that's the non-conscious speaking, hey, it's all about me. When people jump immediately to advocating a position rather than inquiring what's going on. I forget where it was, but this morning when we were talking, I made a statement and someone said, what do you mean by that? That's an inquiry. And it's going to, it's not all about them jumping in and saying an assumption about what they thought I meant. So are you overly focused on personal stories and experiences? And this is where it's a balance. We talk about intimacy, where you want people to be vulnerable enough to share those stories. But if you're overly focused on it, it can become very self-orienting.
Right.
And a tip there is ask your audience. It's now an appropriate time for me to share a personal story.
When we talk about sharing personal stories or being vulnerable, it's also just equally as much when someone else is demonstrating it, how do we then show up in that moment? Because if we show up if you're expressing something and being vulnerable to me and I make it all about me, I start making references to what I've experienced or what I've done or how you can change it based off what I believe, whatever, rather than just acknowledging that it exists and acknowledging that you feel that way, that changes someone's perspective on self-orientation of the other person too.
Yeah.